everyone, it's Simmerhayls and I'm back in The Sims 4 renovating a lot in Windenburg, and I think it's a lot that kind of gets overlooked. It's called Pier Palace. It's on a 30 times 20 lot and it has 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, but by the time I've renovated it, it has 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, or an ensuite. One of them's an ensuite bathroom, a family bathroom, and then just a toilet shower room. So we get a bathroom downstairs. I'm not sure if there is one downstairs originally. I think there is actually, but I completely changed the layout. So I don't know. See what you think in the end. I do completely change this lot. So the information about this lot is that it's uninhabited, and it's over 2 floors, contains 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a rooftop terrace. But the rooftop terrace is very sparse. There's hardly anything on it, even before I start removing stuff from the build. And it has very little outdoor space. And I wanted to change that a bit because I thought, even though the location's really nice, you wouldn't want a lot this size without some kind of garden. So I wanted to move the lot over a bit so we could make the most of where the sun is on this particular lot, although you could move this and put it on a different lot, but I wanted to do it where the sun was on this lot. So I tried to move it over to the right hand side. I got mixed up then. To the right hand side so that we could get some of the sun in the garden. And I also brought the building slightly on the right hand side just because the proportions didn't look right. I wanted it to look a little bit more symmetrical at the front, and then it's not completely symmetrical there, but yeah, I wanted it to be a bit more in proportion, so I brought it in slightly, although the build overall does end up bigger by the end, because this roof terrace was just too big. And if you see at the moment with the 2 different shades of black, it's not broken up at all. It just, I didn't think it worked. It was too big and there was nothing on it. So it makes the building look really plain. So I wanted to give the building a bit more character. I hated the orange wall at the front, so that had to go. And I wanted to have a bit of a contrast in textures on the building, because there is, I know at the minute we've got this bricky texture. I don't mind that texture. I think it's quite a nice one, although I think the colour used is quite muted, especially for the lighting on this lot. I think that the brickwork on the outside can work on other lots, especially if the lighting's better, but just not for this lot. It just looks really washed out, and the orange just, no, it just didn't work at all. So I wanted to get rid of that. I also wanted, because this was quite a big build anyway, especially for the size lot, I thought it was quite a big building. So I thought, if it's a big building, I want a fancy hallway. So the stairs have been moved, but it creates this, it's a bit more of a statement hallway. So we can have a big light hanging down, and I just think it's more in keeping with this kind of building, because it is a big build. It wouldn't be a cheap house if you bought it, so you wouldn't want a really skinny hallway. I don't suppose the hallway is like the biggest selling point in a house, but I just think it was nice to have a statement hallway, because you don't always have room to have a fancy hallway in a lot of Sims builds. So I thought, well, this one's got the room for it, so let's just go for it and try and make it look really special for this build. I kept the front very similar to how it was. I liked the 2 fountains, and I kept the entrance where it was. I think it's just the proportions that have changed slightly. So I haven't changed the front that much, although by the end I do think it looks very different to how it does at the start. But I've tried to keep some of the features there, but yeah, when you see the 2 pictures side by side, which you probably saw in the thumbnail, it's like 2 different builds. But I have actually kept a lot of the proportions the same. I was struggling how to keep the stairs open but still make the most of the space next to them. So that was a bit of a, yeah, I had to get around that. And once I'd worked out how to do that, I think I managed to get the rest of the build. It was just figuring out the layout for that downstairs part. But once I'd done that, it came together that like I knew what I was doing with each of the rooms. So it was just a really small thing, but actually it kind of dictated how I was going to do the downstairs of this property. So yeah, it was just getting my head around how I wanted the stairs to look, and so that I could still have that feature, because that was the main point of having the stairs at the back, so I could have like a big feature hallway. So yeah, we've gone a lot darker with the colours, but I think in this lot it stands out a lot more. And then we've got some of these wood panels as well, which is just a contrast to the grey out on the brick. So I think the two colours together go really well. And yeah, you've just got that light and dark contrast, which I quite like on the building. And I do think it looks a lot more modern than what we had originally. So we've got this flat bit, but I'll come back to that later. I'm not sure if I'll film that bit actually, but we do make just a little planter at the front of the building. Just to give it a bit more definition, and again, just creating more texture at the front of the building. So, I mean, as you can see, it looks really, really big at the moment, but I think once you get the windows in and you get these few little extra details, I think it all comes together. So you'll have to let me know. It maybe is still a little bit big, but it is a big building, so I don't mind it too much. I think it suits this building, and I'm kind of glad I made it bigger at the top, because I love the master bedroom. It's probably my favourite room in the build, and it's the one that I did first as well. So I know there's a lot of this video that I was deleting stuff and just rearranging the floor plan, but I just thought I want to keep it in because I spent so long doing this one, so I just wanted to keep it in this one. I do normally try and cut large chunks of the removing furniture and doing the layout. I normally cut a lot of that out and just start where I'm decorating, but this one I decided to keep it in because yeah, it was quite a big task actually, and even just moving the building and deciding where it was going on the lot, and yeah, it was a big a big plan, this one. So yeah, I don't know. You might not want to see it in future. Just let me know if you don't want to see it. But I just thought it was interesting to keep it in this one because I just don't normally. I've used a lot of the eco lifestyle windows because I knew I mean, my favourite style to build in is modern, and these windows just work so well with a modern build. So we've got some of these extra details like the beams and I think with the windows with the more definition, you know, like the panels around the windows and stuff, they work really well with extra beams. I think they'd work really well on an industrial build as well, but I think they work on this one. It's just like a bit of character, like the building's been used for something before and then repurposed, and I like that kind of style. I think it works really, really nicely, and yeah, them windows especially work really well with it. And then we've got a mixture, so it's like the building's been renovated over time, and then you've got some really modern windows and then some older ones, but they've been repurposed to still be modern, because I think those ones with the thick frame look like they're an older window that's kind of been modernized. So yeah, we have got a bit of a mixture in this one, but I really like how you've got those different things that all kind of come together. So yeah, I was really unsure about the door colour, so you'll have to let me know if you're a fan of the black doors with the paler walls. And the only reason I went for internal black doors was because all of the windows and external doors was black. Otherwise I would have gone for white internal doors. So I'm not sure. I actually think I preferred the white internal doors, but I was trying to make everything go together. So I don't know if it was the right decision to keep them black, but that's what I kept them as that. But I did keep trying to go back and changing them to white. I changed them to, I think, like the pale wood colour as well, because we've got a lot of the pale wood going through the build. But I just thought it was maybe too much. So anyway, I kept coming back to black. So I've left it. I've left it like that now. And yeah, the detailing, some of the detail I have left out at the end because there is a lot of it, and it took me quite a while to furnish, especially the kitchen, because the kitchen's really big. So I cut all of that out, but you can see it in the screenshots at the end, and then you could just pause it if you want to see any more of the detailing. But I've tried to keep in more of the how it's come together rather than some of the detailing at the end. The bedrooms and everything, you'll get to see all of that. The 2 kids' rooms took me probably the longest, but it was just because I think with the kids' rooms, it's finding all the different bits that go in the rooms, and especially because I've been away from The Sims for a while and then come back to it, there's so much kids stuff and it can be in all different places. So it's just finding it all and bringing it all together. So we're going to get into the main decorating of the house now, and we start in the main bedroom and the ensuite. I kind of flip between the two. So I was trying to do one room at a time, but I actually didn't. I didn't really stick to that. So we've got the main bedroom split into 2 parts. At the back of the room, we've got like the dressing area and the wardrobe. It's like a walk-in wardrobe, but it's got a mirror, so it's like a ensuite dressing room, but it's more open plan. And then we've got the ensuite bathroom at the back of there as well. As I say, I do flick about a little bit here. So I was trying to do the hallway, the ensuite, and the main bedroom all at once. I don't know why I've done it like that. I think I was just caught up seeing things that I liked, and then I was going a bit backwards and forwards, which I know is difficult to watch on a speed build, because it's like, where's the camera going? Especially when it's speeded up, you're like, oh, it gives me a bit of motion sickness watching it back. So apologies about flicking between the rooms. But the hallway is pretty quick anyway, and then we're going to go back to the ensuite. Like I said, really near the beginning of the video, the main bedroom is probably my favorite room in this house. I love how it came together, and it's just nice having that extra space to play with, because I do really enjoy doing the smaller builds, but just having a bigger room to play with, you can do so much more with it. So it is nice having that extra space, and just exploring how the room's going to look, and trying to make the most of the space and make it feel a bit more luxurious, because if you've got that amount of room, then you're gonna use the room and make it look a little bit more swanky, I think. It's probably the right word for it. So their ensuite is not huge, but I thought, because it is a bit of a posher house, I gave them the corner tub, which I do think is a bit more luxurious. I've also used some of the new bathroom clutter in this one. So we've got the toilet brush, the toilet cleaner, and we've got some of the little knickknacks in the room that I think they just finish it off. I'm kind of just pretending that this the what do you call it? The divider is got glass. It has got glass in it. It actually hasn't, but I'm pretending it does for this sake, so that it does keep the shower water from going on top of all the other decorations in the room. We've got some of the bathroom clusters, some of the new towels. The sink is quite an old one actually, but I do think it looks, because it's got the bowl type sink, I think it looks a little bit more fancy, like it's a designer sink. And then we've got I can't remember if I stuck to this tile. Did I stick to the grey? I might have done. Yeah, I think I lightened up the fittings to go with the wall, because I'd use like warmer fittings, but then they didn't quite go with the grey tiles, so I changed it to fit the the paper rather than the paper to fit the room. And as I say, this is my favourite room. So this is the luxurious master bedroom or main bedroom. I don't know what you what everyone calls it. I think everyone calls it different things in different areas. So yeah, this is what we've gone for, and I wanted to make a statement headboard, and I have done this in other builds, so this isn't something original that I've done, but I have done it before. And I think using these branches, I just think it looks really fancy, like it's an Airbnb type place that you go and stay. And then I did put some lights in it because we had this shadow underneath. I think it was just because it was kind of conflicting with the what do you call them, like the sideboard type pieces. So I put some lights in there. They're just hidden inside it, but it has brightened it up, which is all I really wanted. And then I've used these units from Dream Home Decorator. Just placed them in there so it looks like a built-in unit, where you've got some storage, and I think it just finishes it off. It looks like it all goes together. It looks like it comes in that unit, so I'm really pleased with how that bit's turned out. And then I wanted to finish it off with something in the corner just as a statement piece of furniture, but I think I ended up coming back to that because I spent ages looking for something that would look right there, and I couldn't find anything. I wish we had some more full-size lamps, because I'm not overly keen on the ones we've got. There's a lot of more old-fashioned ones or traditional looking ones, and I wish we had a few more modern pieces in the full-size lamps, because I'm just not a fan of the ones we've got, really. So yeah, I don't know. I just wish we had a bit more variety of lamps and a few more colour options as well. That'd be nice. Yeah, this room ends up being quite neutral anyway. Although I do change the wallpaper, I wasn't happy with the wallpaper, so I do end up changing that. But like I say, I'm still really unsure about the black doors with this build, so I don't know. I'm just not sure about it. I think because I don't use the black doors very often, maybe. But yeah, I just think they might have looked better white, but I was trying to make it match the windows and everything else. So I don't think you can always have everything matching. I think if I did it again, I might change the doors to white, though, just so that they didn't stand out so much. But it's done now. And I suppose if you download the build, you could always change the doors to white. Or for your taste, you could just change them to whatever you like. Another thing to mention is, for some reason, when I'd built it, it said it was modded, and I removed all my mods. Like I turned the mods function off, and it was still saying, it still had the picture as if it had mods in, but it doesn't. I couldn't find anything, and like I said, I removed the mods from the game, so I don't know why it's saying there's mods. There isn't any mods in it. So if you do download it, it's just something to be aware of, or you might have to select builds with mods to see it. But if you do want to have a look at my builds, just search Simmerhayls on the gallery. It's just spelt the same as on here, and you can have a look at the builds. But to see this one, you might need to select builds with mods. But like I said, I can't find any in it, and also I reloaded it without mods and it was still showing that symbol, unfortunately. So I think it might just be a glitch, but yeah, you can still download it if you just select that option anyway. So yeah, this is their balcony. They've got their own balcony. Like I said, I always imagine it as a beach house, and it didn't have much outside space. So I wanted to try, lost my breath then. I wanted to try and make the most of the outside space that they had, and they had an absolutely huge upstairs roof area that was just not used. So I've made that smaller, so they have still got a rooftop terrace, but it's a lot smaller. But I think it's more practical space, and I've filled it up a little bit more, so they've got a space they can use, but it's not too oversized. So I think the space inside is better, and also the space that is outside is used better. So they haven't got as much terrace, but it doesn't look too big for the property either. I don't know if any of that made sense, but yeah, I was trying to make everything a bit more in proportion is what I'm trying to say, and I think this size balcony with this property is about right. I do kind of wish I'd changed the colour of the flooring though, because I think it should have been this paler wood colour like downstairs. I think I left it as it was originally, but yeah, I think I wish I would have made it the colour of the same as the decking downstairs, where the dining, like the outside dining area is, or barbecue area. So this is the other bathroom, and the layout for this one stumped me a little bit because it's kind of long and thin, this bathroom. It's a good size for a bathroom definitely, but because it's long and narrow, I was kind of I just I didn't really know what to do with the bathtub, because I wanted a bathtub in it. I wanted a bath and a shower. It's the main bathroom of the house, and in a house this size, you definitely need both, or I think it needs both. So I did want to include that, but the layout kind of stumped me a little bit. So for this one, we do end up having both, but the bathtub ends up becoming kind of more of a feature, and it isn't against the wall like I originally put it. It does end up kind of in the middle of the room. But yeah, when it all comes together, I think it looks nice, but you have to bear with me on this one because the layout just stumped me a little bit, I think. And also the window placement, but I kept trying to move the window and then it didn't look right from the outside because I wanted it centre with the front door. So I didn't really want to move the window, but then I was like, but I could move the shower if I moved the window, but I didn't. I kept the window where it was. But yeah, it was a lot of moving things about and just trial and error really. And I think that's sometimes how you get your best rooms in The Sims, because yeah, I just think you need to mess about with it until you're happy with the way it looks. But I was just getting myself in a bit of a muddle with this one. But anyway, I decided to make a feature wall of, with shelves and clutter, and then that's when the room, I think, really came together. And then the bath moves, and I like this wall. I think it's just something a bit different. I haven't done this in a bathroom before, and it's just a nice little feature wall full of some of the new clutter bits that we've got, and yeah, just something a little bit different. I know these two units are the same. I wish we had it with the wood colour the same but different items in them. That would be quite nice. But I've worked with what we've got. So I've got two of the same units with the same items in them. But then the shelves in the middle, and then the feature of the bath there. And it's just something a bit different. And like I say, I've not done it before. So it's just nice to have these, especially when you build quite often in The Sims. It's quite nice to have rooms that you just think, no, I've not seen that before, or I've not done that before. So I was pleased that this bathroom just looked a little bit different. Sometimes bathrooms can be a little bit dull and you just end up doing the same thing all the time, and it just gets, you're like, oh, I don't want to do another bathroom. But yeah, I really like this one. I love the white bricks as well, or they could be just white tiles. I think it looks really modern. So yeah, I just really like this bathroom, and I love that shower as well with the black detailing on it. It's probably my favourite in the game. So anyway, that's the bathroom done. This is the first of the children's bedrooms, and I think this one is the one that took me the longest. The other one, the one at the back of the build, I end up putting bunk beds in this one. This is only a bedroom for a single child at the front. And I think the reason I struggle with this one is because there's a lot of windows and they're kind of in an awkward place. So we've got the long kind of higher up window, which is good to put clutter underneath, but it can be difficult to place furniture when you've got the door in the corner, you've got a window at the far end, and then you've got these long windows. So putting somewhere for a wardrobe, for a bed, I don't know why I struggle with that. I mean, I could have put the bed under the window, maybe. Maybe that would have been, probably would have been more ideal, actually, thinking about it. Because, yeah, that would have slotted under the window quite nicely. But anyway, I decided to put the bed in the back corner. This is where I kept changing the doors. But yeah, I was never happy with them. So yeah, I decided to put the bed on the back wall, and I was struggling for where to put the wardrobe, which ends up coming on the wall as you come in the door. It's on that wall. But obviously the windows are in the way as well. So I had to set the wardrobe back a little bit, and yeah, the windows was just so annoying in this room, but I didn't want to remove them because from the outside of the build, I think the building looks really nice from the outside, so I just didn't want to change it. So I kept the windows where they were. I was like, no, I have to work with the room as it is. A bit like a shell challenge. When something's there, just go with it, and you've got to work around it. And that's how I kind of furnished this room. I was like, the windows are where they are, the doors where they are, just work around them, and try and work with them and make a feature out of different bits of the room. This bed I really like, but I didn't end up keeping that one because I thought it's quite an expensive house, so you would have a better bed than that in the house. So that's why I didn't keep the multicolored bed. I went with a more neutral one. But yeah, I do really like that bed. I wish they had that cover on one of the sturdier beds, like the ones with a solid bed frame, because this wicker one, I just think it looks a little bit cheaper. So it would be nice to have that cover on a more solid bed frame. Yeah, I wish we had all the covers on all of the beds. It would just be so much better. But that's kind of living in dream world, I think. So the cabinet is from the paranormal kit, and we've also got the one under the window is from I can't remember which one that's from. Is it the knitting kit? The one with all the activities in it. Yeah, it can click together with the desk anyway. That one, I just thought I've put loads of storage in here. I thought for a younger child, this is for like a child. I thought it was important to have like lots of different places where they can put their little knickknacks and toys and stuff. So the room ended up loads of different colours. I wanted a feature wall behind the bed, and then the other walls to all be matching. I think I've toned it down quite a bit from where it started, and yeah, so we've got this like wooden paneling wall, which is like the feature wall, and then the pink, but it's kind of a softer pink. It's not that bright in your face one. And yeah, because I think because all the furniture is quite neutral, it kind of works in this room. And then I've just cluttered it up. We've got loads of toys, the radio. I love that radio with the cat ears. I think it's just super cute. And I think having this extra space in the rooms is just so nice to be able to just make had loads and loads of clutter. You just can't do it in little builds because you've got to have space for your Sims to be able to walk around. So it is nice having this extra space for just adding a bit of personality to the rooms. I love these shelves. I don't use them very often, but they're so cute, and you can add quite a few extra books to this to fill it up and make it look a bit more lived in than some of the shelves. So yeah, I think this room comes together quite nicely, and it's definitely very girly. But yeah, I like this little room. I think it looks really cute. And so yeah, we'll move on to the next room, which is I think I've aimed this one more at teenagers. So we've got a lot of greens and yellows, or blues and yellows, I think. oh, I can't remember which colour I went for. I think it's like a greeny blue and a yellow. So we've got the bunk beds, and basically I put the bunk beds in first and kind of themed the room around the bunk beds because it was depending on what colour bunk beds that I put in. I think this room would work with girl Sims or boy Sims or one of each. I just think it's a universal room. So I think it's a nice mix. So if you've got twins where you've got a boy and a girl, this room would work really well because there's enough in here for either. And I know all Sims could be into it, the same activities. It doesn't matter if they're a boy or a girl. But I just think it's nice having them colours that just work for any kind of sim and yeah, just different interests, different genders, just anything. So it is yeah, this room is a bit more universal. It's not down. I think the room at the front is definitely quite stereotypical, but this one at the back I think is a lot more open to interpretation. You could use it for anybody really, I think. So, or even you could even use this for younger Sims and just add a few more toys to it. So it's I think this room is probably more my taste than the room at the front, but for a little girl, that room at the front would probably be a dream bedroom. But this one is definitely more my taste. I love the colour woods. I love this bunk bed with the patterned panelling as well at the front and the top of the bed and the bottom of the bed. It's just something a bit different, and I like more things like this. Anything like this, I would love more of it in The Sims. And then I've started with the big desk, but I thought it took up too much of the room, so I ended up putting a smaller desk in the corner, which I was thinking the Sims would have to share. And then I've tried to add a few activity bits in here. So we've got knitting, which I don't include very often actually. I wish I included it more because I think it's quite a nice one. And then we've got the guitar. So maybe one of the twins is into music and then the other one is more into crafty type things. And then both of them can use the computer for homework, or maybe one of them's more into games. So they've got a few things, and I do try and think about what Sims could do with a room as well when I'm furnishing it. So I think there's a few different interesting things that they can do in that room. So this is the feature hallway, which is, I really like this. I think for this type of house, this hallway has worked really well. I did want to put like a fancy decoration here, but I didn't end up doing that. I just put a plant in the corner, which is safe and easy to decorate. So that's what I've done. I've gone with the easy one. We've got a little bathroom off the hallway, and it's just a really simple one. A little shower room. It's kind of woods and neutrals. I've put a little plant in here because there was enough room. It is a 6 tile room, so I suppose it's not too bad a size, even for a little toilet room. It's still quite a decent size. So the shower is from the fitness kit or fitness stuff pack. I don't think that pack gets enough recognition. I think it's got some really nice pieces in that pack actually. And then the sink is from Dream Home Decorator, base game mirror, and then I think the panel wallpaper is from Eco Lifestyle. But yeah, just a very neutral little bathroom, and just added a few decorations just to brighten it up. And I also used the new bath mat and toilet, the thing that goes around the toilet. I don't know what it's called, the little carpet that goes around the toilet. You see them in the UK quite often. I don't think they're in America as much, but yeah, you definitely see them in the UK quite a lot. So I thought it was quite nice to use them. And I haven't used them before, so I thought, why not? Let's just stick them in there. And yeah, they come in some quite nice colours. They've got really neutral colours as well. So I was missing them at first. I was going for all ones I've used before, and then I was like, oh, we've got these ones which go, and they go perfectly with the wood tones as well. So I was really pleased with that. So yeah, let's move on to the, I forgot to, oh, I was struggling with the door placement. I did keep changing that. I think I've used green quite a lot in this build. I don't quite know why I've used so much green. This doesn't stay like this. The kitchen does not stay blue. And also we had a bit of a break. I don't know what to call it. So we end up with a fireplace in the middle of the room, but the fireplace is at both sides. So it kind of divides the room a bit, but it's still, I wouldn't call it open plan, but we've got two big arches, so it's kind of feels open, but it is sectioned off. I think that's the best way to put it. The kitchen's absolutely huge. We've got a built-in refrigerator, and the cooker is on the island, so it's kind of a central cooker. I wish we could have all of the cookers with the sticking up bit at the back just taken off. Just keep all the cookers as they are, but just take that bit off, because I don't know any cookers that come like that, and they would all fit better in the islands if that bit was taken off. I just don't think they're needed on any of the cookers. And if in the next Sims games they could just make the cookers without that, I would be so happy. I don't know why they've put them on. They look really old-fashioned, and maybe keep one with that on, and then the rest just take it off. Because I like this cooker. I don't like that bit, and I was trying to hide it with any object I could find, really, that was just that I could fit in the island. And I mean, this piece would have been ideal, but I haven't got a purple kitchen. The dots were a bit too in your face. Otherwise that would have been ideal. But anyway, I went for this wooden divider and just tried to blend it in a little bit. But I mean, it's not ideal. I wish we had cookers that was just flat. I could have used the one from the mountain pack, but I actually don't like the look of the cooker. I just don't like the look of it. And the only other options then are CC ones, which I didn't use, but I should have done, because it was labelled as CC anyway. But yeah, I think if you want to download this kitchen, obviously there is a few options you could do. Keep the feature of the divider, or you could have a cooker without a lip on it, and then it would look better, I think, if it was flat. But I used what we had in the game. This is what I came up with. So I do clutter the kitchen up later on, but like I said, I don't do that on camera because it took a while. I think it's only really the shelves anyway that took a while to clutter up. But yeah, the living room was really simple to furnish. I love these modular sofas. If I would like some more of those, because I'm getting a bit bored of using the same ones. But when I put this in, I just thought it looked too much of an open space. I didn't think it particularly worked well because it's quite long and narrow, so that's why I ended up putting the fireplace in the middle. But I actually like how it ended up, because it just gave each space its own definition, and also I could decorate it slightly differently, well, quite a bit differently to be fair. So the living room's definitely got its own feel, and then the kitchen, but you've still got that space. You can see the space and you can see through the rooms, so it's nice. You've got the big mixture of it not being open plan, but still having the illusion of a grand space as well. I did try loads of different rugs. I tried a load of different designs, but I just didn't really like them. So I ended up taking all of them away and going with something quite plain, I think, or quite neutral. So yeah, I couldn't really get the feeling right with the ones I was trying. I did also change the wood, because I did have the paler wood, but I thought with the kitchen being this colour, I couldn't really keep the wood the same, because the kitchen cabinets was kind of merging into the flooring, and it kind of looked silly, so I didn't go for that. Yeah, this is where I came to deciding how to divide the room. So yeah, we end up with 2 arches at the sides and then a fireplace in the middle. And then I was thinking, I want it to look like it is a recessed fireplace. So I ended up putting the fireplace at both sides. I thought, why not? We'll have a proper fireplace feature. I'm thinking there must be electric fires, because we haven't got a chimney on the on the ceiling. But I also wanted to raise the middle with platforms, just so that it looked full, but I couldn't, because I'd not done the middle of the fireplace as a room. I'd just put walls separately, so it's not recognising it as a room. That's why you saw the floor of the whole living room and kitchen go up. So I thought, well, it doesn't matter. You don't have to have the flooring raised. So yeah, we went with that. I used 2 pictures to create that picture, just because of the frame. I liked the frame, the original picture, but I didn't think the picture went with this particular build. So yeah, the build is slowly coming together. We've got quite a lot of the rooms done now. So we've got the living room furnished, the kitchen. The garden was quite easy to furnish, actually. Sometimes I struggle with gardens a little bit, but the garden was quite easy to furnish. And then we've got an office downstairs left to furnish, and just tidying it all up and bringing it all together. So it's getting there quite quickly now. And I always love this part of the build where you see everything and you think, yeah, it's coming together how I want it now. Because at the start of a build, sometimes it seems like such a vast space. You're like, oh, how am I going to furnish all of this and make it all fit nicely together? Because it's not about just furnishing one room. You wouldn't have one room that's completely different to all the others. So it's quite nice seeing it all come together, and I do enjoy that part of the process. So we've got a paved area, or a little patio type area, and some stripy grass, because I think they've got the money. They'll probably hire a gardener. Like I say, I kept the fountains at the front, and then I do quite a lot of landscaping on this one. So all of that mud area that you saw me putting in the garden, I fill that with flowers, and then we get a few flowers around the front, not too many around the front, and then just use the landscaping tool to add some kind of detail into the main entrance, and a little car parking area. Although it does kind of annoy me on this particular lot that I've built it in, because it doesn't look like you can get a car around. But I just thought, in a property this size, I want a car parking space, so I've added one just at the front. So yeah, I think the build is nearly there. So I'm gonna speed the next bit up, where we just finish off the garden and the office, and then you'll see the screenshots. So I know this one's been a really long one, so thank you for sticking around watching it until the end. I hope you enjoy the screenshots. Please do let me know what you think of it, and if you do like the builds, the channel, and wanting more content, please do like the general YouTube things, like liking the video or give me a subscribe. It's really appreciated. I know the channel's only small, but it's nice to get some little feedback from people, and yeah, I hope you are liking the builds on the channel. So take care everyone, have a good week, and I'll see you soon.